Welcome to Dandy Ace, an isometric dungeon crawler with cards and plenty of monsters. I see it's mostly compared to Hades, but I don't think that's fair. Let's get right into it. Let's start a new game. We're going to start a new run. I have unlocked some things on this save file already, just to let you know. It looks like 25 out of 60 things and a couple other things. We'll talk about it. Though there are different difficulty levels, you have to unlock them. So as you play on hard, you get to unlock more shards, which will help you unlock even more things in the game. That's helpful. But because this is a demonstration that is live, I am going to play on normal. Playing this game and talking at the same time is a challenge. So you get dropped right into this area. If you start a new game, there's a whole introduction. I didn't ruin that. I have no interest in spoiling the game. Here's the Expedited Beginning. You get 3 cards from the start. These are your power-ups, your attacks, your moves. So this first one, the first one I picked up, Shocking Arrival. It allows you to dash forward. The blue cards are always a dash. And they do attack, they do hit. And now my other card, it is Titan Punch, which is a very close range attack, very difficult to use. So it's not a great starting, item. Hopefully I'll be able to find something else along the way. There are more. This is a good one. I can actually teleport if I click it again, but it does lock the enemies into place. Kind of cool. It binds them for 2.5 seconds. That's actually really helpful. So it's a mixed bag here. This is going to be, I am not loving life here with this beginning hand. The punch is super powerful, but the range isn't great. You do want a lot more ranged abilities. Now, why are you here? You're here because your arch nemesis, the green-eyed magician Lele, I believe, has locked you inside a magic mirror. And now you must fight your way to defeat them all the way at the end of the game. Pretty much sums it up. So one of the cool things about these cards, I keep pressing the wrong button. You not only get to use them as different slots for attacks, you can use them to upgrade the cards. So you can upgrade. So I'm going to put it here. I'm going to upgrade this card, this Titan Punch. So now when I punch, it will form a cloth chain to the enemy and then do even more damage. Let's see if I can activate that right here to give you an instance. Now I'm changed to this enemy and it's constantly doing damage. This just improves my DPS even more. One thing to note is that, cupcakes drop. That's important to know because you will want to heal yourself. Anyway, as I was saying before I interrupted myself with cupcakes, the cards have a power level. That's the wrong button again. Tier level, sorry. And the higher the tier, the more powerful it is. Comes into play later in the game when you're hitting and the damage is terrible. So the keys. So I unlocked this area. I have unlocked the green key. So unlocking the green key is good for obviously trying to, I got an extra card this time, but it does allow you to take a different path through the game, which is pretty cool. I'm going to do this. Right. So those keys, it allows you to experience different areas so the game doesn't get boring. So you get to choose a little bit, but at the end, it's very linear. So I will show you a map when we get there. I have to first get to the area where I can spend my mirror shards. Oh yeah, the dash does not have any invincibility frames to it, so you do have to be careful at all times. Anyway, there is that area between levels where you can spend your shards and unlock more items and weapons. The enemies do get stunned pretty well, so that's nice. It lets you just damage them with the fist. The fist is not useless. It's just a lot more dangerous to be close to enemies. That worked out pretty well. Now keep in mind, I have played a lot, and one of the biggest learning curves of this game is learning what the enemies will do. Well, this is one of my favorite cards. I will equip it here in this slot just to show you what it does. So that's pretty cool. But if I use it as an upgrade, it will poison I still want this yellow card, I think. So I'm going to do that. What does this one do? Oh, yeah, that. Kind of hard to hit things in a line. We'll try, though. Oh, yeah, so this guy talks a lot as you're playing. I wonder if that's why most people try to compare the game to games like Hades, even though it's nothing like that. And when we get there, the spending of the mirror shards will remind you of Dead Cells, but I think there's enough in Dandy Ace to definitely call it its own game. Keep in mind the levels get very claustrophobic as you near the end of the game. So in the beginning here, you think this is pretty hard, but it's nothing like later in the game. It just becomes very difficult to get around and position yourself without taking damage. I'll show some of that off, hopefully, later. This is a tough one. I'll put it here, I guess. For now, I'm not really ended up using any of those cards. Let's get this cupcake. Didn't really help. Now, here is the section in between levels.
You're not even sweating.
We will wait patiently. I think I can find a map here. So here's Jolly Jolly. She's pretty funny.
Great to see you.
She's your assistant. And you get to, so I have 10 shards collected for that little area. I really got to play on hard because obviously this stuff gets very expensive. So I'm just going to put it towards this first thing. Your charges for your health, you can drink tea. And then you get to choose one prize, refill all of your HP and charges for your tea to drink to heal you. Or you can pick a card. I'm going to pick the tea because obviously I didn't have maximum health. And one trinket from Jenny Jenny.
Feel for that green-eyed man.
And
He must
the
be so
trinkets
lonely.
are not that complex. Either wait after 10 seconds, you do more damage, you reduce damage. It's stuff like that. 15% damage from melee, from ranged. I'm going to take 15%. You can only equip 3 at a time, according to this bottom area on the right here, which isn't enough. It doesn't really give you enough abilities to, like, there's no pros and cons. You kind of just pick the same ones every time. Some of them seem kind of pointless. So I just, the system doesn't feel completely fleshed out. It's just there to help you throughout the game. Anyway, here's the map. So I chose to go through the banquet hall. I could have used the red key to go through the courtyard, but there's different areas. You won't have the keys, obviously, as when you start. You'll have to unlock them as you go, but it chooses which boss you'll face later on as well. So yeah, and then at the end of the levels, it gets very linear. It's not so bad, but it is pretty hard as well. So let's continue. And here's this mysterious guy. He's the story.
Your good looks won't matter.
I'm not going to tell you anything else about him. Don't want to spoil it. So yeah, and then luckily, oh, I thought I killed him. Luckily, the game does tell you which cards are under or overpowered. So a level 3 is what I want here, or it would be helpful here, but level 2 is good enough to actually cause damage to these enemies. Oh. Otherwise, you will not be hitting the enemies hard enough, and it'll just make the game so much more difficult than it needs to be. Having the correct cards at the right time is an important part of the game. Anyway, I'm a big fan of the cards. I think they're a lot of fun. You know, choosing them and making sure you pick the ones that you want, that work best for you, and the ones that are more powerful. You're not always going to get the cards you want. I have some cards I'm not really thrilled about right now. I'm not really sure how to work them into this build right now, and I'm particularly unhappy with my fist. I guess I could switch the fist, you know. I could switch the fist. Oh, some poison roses. You know, I'm going to switch the fist for these poison roses and do that. All right. Poison roses is one of my faves. So it's nice to have your favorite in there.
Don't stand a chance against these next foes.
I'm going to fast forward a bit and we will check out a later level, even though this one's pretty hard. We could probably get to an even later one and show off what I mean by claustrophobic. Let's go. Welcome back. We fast forwarded a little bit, but this isn't a boss yet. But I just wanted to jump in here and comment that this is part of the reason why the levels get so hard. These things right here are spikes, and that completely reduces the area you're allowed to move in. You will get stuck sometimes on the walls or on like a little edge or something, which can be very frustrating, but it doesn't happen too much. But it is something I have to mention. But just with the areas getting so constrictive and so many bullets jumping around, you know, I can't even go over there really. It does hurt enemies, but it's not as much as you'd think. So it's less than you. This room is murdering me, how many enemies there are. Dandy Ace gets so hard later in the game. Another important fact is that you must learn everything the enemies are going to do, or else you do not stand a chance. Memorizing the enemies is a huge part of this game.
I've been thinking of
Anyway, back to fast forwarding while I hopefully make it through this and get to a boss.
Oh, not you again.
Hey there, big guy. Did anyone bring you the paint tubes? Sap green, you said?
No, those colors are completely sold out. So I decided to paint something new. I'm quite happy with it so far.
Oh, nice. May I see it?
So you can mock my magnum opus? Not a chance. I've had enough of you, magician. On guard!
I will say that the design of these enemies is really good, and I really liked the voice acting. Everything's just over the top silly with this game. You just have to be very careful with these bosses. And there's a bunch of bosses. You saw the map. So that's just really cool. A lot going for this game. I highly recommend it. It is a lot of fun. I'll probably say as much in the outro. Whew, I just do not have enough of these rose charges to fight this boss. I'm just trying to stay in that area so I keep damaging him. You know, I forgot that one weapon has a teleport. How foolish of me. I'm just trying to win. Oh god, it's hard.
Want to give up now?
The game never gets easier. It gets easier because you know what to expect, but it's not like that easy. I'm playing on normal and I'm still struggling to get through sometimes. I still need to unlock more things, I suppose. And after this, you unlock another guy that will help you. Ooh, here's a card I don't necessarily want. It's just not gonna, I think I need to do this. I'm gonna start running out of problems. Anyway, you unlock this guy, Niftar, and he helps you get even more powerful. It's like a whole other selling thing here. You could start with better cards, or get better cards at the shops, or get better cards from chests, or it's just that way you get more powerful. But it's very expensive. I'm gonna just spend it all. Why not? Overall, Dandy Ace is an incredibly fun and challenging game. The cards are such an interesting mechanic. I enjoyed how silly everything is and the bright colors. However, Dandy Ace is a little rough around the edges. Getting stuck on a corner or getting hit by projectiles you didn't really see is disheartening. I do slightly recommend Dandy Ace though. So, thanks for watching. This is a new type of video and you might have some thoughts about the format. Let me know in the comments. Thanks.
Poisonous